there. So I'm here with Wrigley. She's exhausted. I just wanted to jump on here and introduce today's video. I'm going to be taking you around this trail that we just went around and talking about a decompression walk. Great activity for mental enrichment for your dog, those brain games type of activities that I've been talking about here on my channel, and also physical exercise, of course, for me and for her, which is awesome. This is something that I think a lot of people don't really think about when it comes to brain games for your dog, is sniffing. Sniffing is a huge mental enrichment opportunity that I think a lot of people miss, and so a lot of dogs miss out on too. But definitely a good excuse to get your exercise in, gets their exercise in for the day, and also mental enrichment. You guys do not have to walk for like 2 hours at a time to get your dogs tired. If you can dedicate like 15 or 20 minutes to it, take them to a park. I would opt for that over a 6-foot leash walk around a residential neighborhood. Now, sometimes there's not always time for that, and that's okay. But like I said, I try to come out here or to a park or somewhere on these long line walks about 3 to 4 times a week with Wrigley. It really helps when I have to leave her at the house for a long period of time, and that gets kind of boring, I would imagine. So I think this really helps just get her brain settled and eased for the day, with checking off all of those boxes, mental enrichment and exercise being the two most important ones. It doesn't always have to involve food for mental enrichment. If you're dealing with any sort of behavior issues, you might see a little bit of a difference if you start to do these kinds of things with your dog, just because we're fulfilling them and all of their needs a little bit more so. That's why dogs tend to get into trouble around the house with different things and getting into stuff, because they're bored. So letting them have an outlet for that kind of stuff can be really important for their everyday lives. We're just out here getting some exercise in and some mental enrichment. What I really like about these long line trail walks with her is it tires her out physically and mentally, because she is on a longer line. She's able to walk at her own pace and get all of her sniffs in that she wants to get in. We both get exercise, so that's a bonus. And she goes home twice as tired than if I took her on a normal just walk around the residential neighborhood near our apartment. I do have this harness on Wrigley today too. It's just a training harness. She's really cute and we have a big issue of people with their other dogs wanting to walk right up to us, which Wrigley's not okay with. So the vest kind of just helps people stay at a bit of a distance from us, and we can enjoy our time at the lake by ourselves. So like I said before, the purpose of this walk is not for training purposes. However, I do like to take spots to stop. This little beach is a great stopping place to do some engagement games with Wrigley. I'm just playing some Ready Find It with her on the beach, just to reinforce that that little thing in her brain that says, I really want to go sniff out here right now and totally blow you off. I want her to listen to me in every environment, so taking the time to play a little bit of an easy engagement game, the Ready Find It game, can be very helpful for getting your dog to listen in every sort of environment that you take them to. So it can be very helpful. I was also practicing little tiny recalls, just calling her name while she was probably like 10 feet away from me. So nothing huge, but just a tiny bit of engagement. Most of the time I'm really not asking for her attention out here at all. So taking little short bits of time throughout our walk is really important for reinforcing that engagement with me. Okay, so we're moving again. I like to come during the week. Most of the times there's not that many people around, which is really nice. I kind of like to have the trail to myself, so to speak. So we'll pass a couple people, a couple dogs every once in a while, and I'll work her through that. But for the most part, she's kind of out ahead of me, and I'm giving her about 10 feet of leash. She likes to stop probably every like 5 feet. And we're working on getting her to kind of move with me a little bit more than that and keep moving. If I were to let her stop every 5 feet around here, it'd probably take me 3 hours. to get around this 3-mile trail. So obviously that is not going to happen. So lots of encouragement for getting her to keep walking forward with me is definitely necessary out here. And we've got some wildlife out here too. Let me show you guys the prairie dogs. So there's some prairie dogs out here. I actually have prairie dogs in my neighborhood. So Wrigley's pretty used to them and knows that she can't really chase them. I do not let her chase prairie dogs. But she's willing to just stay on the trail with me. Lots of encouragement for your dog staying on the trail. A lot of times when people are passing too, you kind of need them to stay on one side of the trail. So if they try to go to the other side, just kind of stop them with the leash and encourage them to come back over to one side or the other, depending on what your preferences are. But this is kind of what I do with Wrigley. And you know, she, like I said, likes to stop a lot on our walks to sniff. She's a very scent oriented dog. So just keeping moving is basically what I do with her. And that kind of encourages her to keep moving forwards with me. Got some prairie dogs making sounds up here. It can be very distracting if she goes too far out. Wrigley, good girl. Yes. You can practice some recall away from prairie dogs, which can come in very handy. Yes, good girl. Little engage, disengage game. It's a good job. I don't really care if she pulls all that much. I have her on a back clip harness. Makes it a lot easier to manage the long line. That's a personal preference for me. If you're really working on loose leash walking with your dogs, I would suggest a front clip harness. Just know that with a long line, you're gonna have to really manage the leash a lot. Otherwise they're gonna get tangled up in it. So I just wanted to make a note of that. You guys can absolutely choose the harness that's gonna be best for your dog in the situation. But for these decompression walk type deals, I do not mind her being on a back clip harness. She doesn't pull very much anyways, because we've kind of worked on that. But yeah, I just wanted to make a note of that as we're going along here. You guys can kind of see me working her through when she likes to stop. Like I said, it is like every 5 feet. So we're just continuing our motion forwards. I'm not jerking her around by any means. Just a light pressure on her harness gets her going for the most part. Since I'm talking, I'm not cueing her let's go, but the let's go cue, saying that right before she's about to let's go. Feel that pressure on her harness. She'll start to learn that cue real well. Some dogs will not hear you say that cue if they are mid-sniff. Wrigley can be one of those dogs. Sniffing is very exciting for her. And there she was just trying to go over to the other side, so I started backing up with her just to get her back onto this side. But anyways, so saying let's go and then continuing your motion forward can be really helpful for them to learn. You know, let's go means I really would like you to keep up with me right now and not continue to stop. And occasionally I'll be able to cue that to her. And when she is stopped, and she actually will continue forward with me without me having to put any pressure on the leash at all. So that's a good thing for sure. Let's go. Good girl. And in this situation too, I'm just using verbal praise for her coming along with me. You guys can choose to click and treat for that as well. Over here. Thank you. And I use over here as a cue to come back on the side that you were with me. This is kind of turning into a little bit more of a training talk walk than I anticipated. But that's okay. It's all these little tips and tricks so that you guys can get out there with your dogs and actually enjoy your time with them, and they can enjoy their time too. So this is good for me too. I'm learning that it's very difficult for me to walk and try to talk to you guys and film myself or Wrigley. Much easier to film Wrigley, but we just passed a couple dogs. It's impossible for me to film while I'm working her through that. I cannot just pass another dog with her without working her. So that's definitely something that I'll play ready, find it. I'll play the engage, disengage game. I will just cue her yes for looking at the other dogs. She loves a catch it game, like a ready, find it, but I toss in the air for her to catch. That works super well with her. So we kind of are nearing the end of our little trail here. So I just wanted to reiterate to you guys that this is kind of like a pseudo decompression walk, just because she does not get the full length of leash that she normally would in a park setting. I'm only giving her about 10 feet, but still an environment we don't come to all the time. So it's definitely a good way for her to experience a new environment and some different smells that she doesn't really get to do on a day-to-day basis, but and investigate the frozen over lake and the geese that are squawking at her out there. So still a really good mental enrichment opportunity for her. I definitely encourage you guys to try it with your own dogs. I have her on just a 30-foot long line here, and I have it shortened up, like I said, to about 10-15 feet, something like that. And she is able to walk at her own pace, and for the most part sticks with me. Like you guys saw, she does like to stop frequently, so I just continue my motion forwards. I hope you can hear me over this wind. But I just continue my forward motion with her, cueing that let's go. But for the most part, I won't really say much to her, and she'll kind of get the hang of it once we're about 10 or 15 minutes into the walk and be like, okay, all right, we're moving. I can sniff while I'm walking. She absolutely can sniff while she's walking. I don't need to stop every 5 minutes with her. So I definitely encourage you guys to get out there and get in nature. It's definitely a nice decompression for myself too, a nice little break from it all. So bringing your dog along with you, getting them some physical exercise along with that brain stimulation that they wouldn't normally get on your residential walk can be really important for us.